What's going on, Benjamin Jansen? We are here. It's Friday. It's noon, and we're going to talk business in our office hours.
Everybody's happy for that.
I know.
I gotta get new sounds. I know I said that. We're gonna talk some business. I want to talk some about the week too. I want to talk about things that are going on. I want to tell you that I know you can tell by how gaunt I look right now that I'm starving. It's lunchtime.
Oh my
and I haven't
gosh, why are
eaten
you
yet.
starving?
Starving. I think my blood sugar's just jacked. We ate spaghetti last night and it was a lot of
Okay.
carbs, and then I haven't had anything all day. So
All
so
right,
I'm
tell me about
hungry
your
now.
spaghetti. You don't seem like a spaghetti family. I don't know why I say
Oh,
that.
well, we are a spaghetti family. My wife is very particular, however. She does require me to get like imported bronze cut organic pasta because the rest of it hurts her belly. But I make my own sauce, and we
Okay.
usually use like pretty good beef and stuff. So it's good spaghetti, man. Not that I'm above jarred sauce, like we do
Yeah.
that, but I typically can make a pretty big batch and it lasts for a while.
Okay. Oh, so you make like a lot and then you freeze it? What do you do with it?
Yeah, freeze it.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
fine. It works
we're
great.
pasta sauce from the store all the way.
Nothing wrong with it, man. And I feel like that's like, if you don't have it on hand, I'll do that. And actually, I will tell you that I find the Central Market, just their brand of like
Yeah.
tomato basil sauce, it's like $3, just as good as any of that $10 stuff on the shelf. But I'll just get like a big can of San Marzano. You just sweat down a little bit of onions and garlic, put that in with some basil and then whatever spices you like. Let it, cook out the real tomato flavor.
Okay. Are we off MSG again? I thought we were all okay with
I'm
MSG.
in, dude. I mean, it makes it super yummy. And then I do not put sugar in, but sometimes I'll add a little bit of carrots when I'm sweating everything down for
Sweetness.
just to get it sweet.
Yeah.
And then I use an immersion blender on it, and I'll just whatever. And it makes really good sauce. It's fine. A little bit of water too to thin it out, but you can do tomato paste too, and that makes it a little bit richer. But usually just the San Marzano are good. But you make a big batch like that, you can get through 3 or 4 meals with it.
I'm gonna try that.
Always in the freezer. Yeah, I'll send you the recipe. It's good.
Well, yeah, we'll put that in the show notes.
It should be my crappy spaghetti sauce recipe.
Sauce. That surprises me that she's so bougie about spaghetti because all of my family from Central Texas, which I know you're, they like the crappiest spaghetti.
So
it's like
for her,
chicken
it's like,
bake. We just want chicken with noodles, no sauce.
She's not. Spaghetti. She doesn't have like celiacs or any kind of like I think like any true medical condition, but she does get sensitive. This ET picture is up on my computer right now, by the way, and I keep seeing it. I have to turn it off. We'll have to post the ET picture.
Yeah,
later.
Nate
But anyway,
sent us this ET picture that is disgusting. It really bothers me.
I hate it. But her tummy gets upset with like some types of like gluten and like GMO wheat and stuff. And so if I buy like the organic imported bronze cut pastas, like high protein pastas, she seems to do like better with that stuff, and it doesn't upset her stomach. And then we all get to eat spaghetti, and I don't have to make like, gluten-free noodles or whatever. So a little more expense on the front end, but it's all worth it at the end. So anyway, enough about spaghetti. Look, this has been actually a really cool week, and we have we're coming up on that kind of like really chaotic conference season where there's just a lot of overlap and a lot of stuff going on. But I wanted to talk real quickly about a couple of wins this week and some cool things that happened on site, because we finished up a big conference, and I want to brag a little bit about stuff that we do.
I'm so curious. How did that conference go?
It was great. It was amazing.
Everybody was in San Antonio all week, right?
Everybody was. And thank you to you. I want to say that too, because you made a couple of big drives coming in to help meet with clients to keep all these other things on track. And so it's the teamwork thing that I really wanted to talk about today. Like everybody working together is what allows us to pull weeks like this off and like the next upcoming weeks. Because without you being able to go to these meetings and manage these clients and meet with other vendors and do it, the rest of the staff couldn't have been on to manage that stuff. And that was huge, huge, huge to have core staff at an event like this, because it was 3 rooms of live stream, and not having to bring contractors in for that stuff is really important to us, for us to be there on site. But a couple of awesome things about this. One, this was a massive, like I said, team effort. just by Audion in general. So for this conference, we started off by, this is a client we've done for the last couple of years, but we did all of the design for like layout for all their print materials that were on site and their signage and stuff, right? So there was a
Okay.
lot of, it was really
Cool.
nice, good, very consistent, good imaging everywhere. Everything looked really good. It was sweet. And Emily did a great job working with their staff, who some of are new and didn't really know how to work through a lot of this stuff and weren't the most efficient. And so she was really good at helping them do it. Then Corey had taken those designs and they didn't have a conference app. They were on Socio, which I think it's a WebEx product maybe. And they only do it enterprise now. So all these small organizations that relied on that, they're in the lurch. They don't have a platform anymore because they can't afford the enterprise. So we basically took our digital expo hall and we turned it into almost like a conference app experience. So you would go to the main landing page, our little mini site that has like all your headers for the expo hall, the sponsorships, the summit home, whatever. The video would play in the middle page. You'd have Q&A and chat.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, and then in the expo hall, Corey built out the conference program so people could go through. Now, we didn't dive much deeper than that, but we could have done some calendaring there. We could have set up notification alerts for when things are going to happen. Like it could have been a little bit deeper, but
Yeah.
for what they needed, it was awesome. And you're talking about 600-700 people on site and then however many they had online. And no issues. I mean, 4 days of conference, not one issue. Like that doesn't, you know what I mean? Like there was no customer service problems. There was nothing that screwed up. Plus the guys on site, because we had core staff there, just completely crushed it. But I want to tell you the coolest thing that happened, because I didn't tell you this yet.
Okay.
I had several people come up to me at that conference that know me from being at that conference or from other conferences that we work, because we kind of work in that industry.
Yeah.
They were like, "Hey, I've been watching some of your shorts and some of your stuff. It was really cool." And I had,
No way.
yes. And I had one guy come up to me and he was like, "I swear, man, it was so crazy. I was watching one of them and I was like 100% sure that you were talking directly to me." And I was like, "What was it about?" And he was like, "It was the one where you guys were talking about hotel staff and like interfacing and not bringing in your vendors ahead of time to interface with them, and the troubles you can get in if you're just kind of in and out of venues all the time and don't have like a team that can help you navigate that." And I was like, "Dude, we were talking to everybody." But yeah, it was good to know that that's like a commonality and that we're like, some people are, they're feeling that, man. They're getting it. So
That's great.
it was cool.
But you weren't actually talking about him.
No, I wasn't. It wouldn't have anything to do with him. I mean, but
But that just shows you these are universal problems.
totally. And it made me feel really good because I was like, okay, cool. We're not just like blowing smoke. It's like, this is stuff that is really, it's impactful to people and they're getting it and they understand it. So
Okay,
it made me feel
cool.
really good
That
about the
makes
time
this
that we
a
spent
little
together.
bit more worth it.
Yeah, totally, dude. So, but, so that was my two big takeaways from the week. Were like, it was so impressive to me to watch this entire team effort, that all these different disciplines that we have in house come together for one event, because it was a lot of work and it was a lot of individual contributions that made it really successful, from the design to having core crew on site, to the execution of the event, to the print materials, to the digital. Like it was super cool.
So I can't believe Corey built an app just for the event. That's kind of amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it was really cool.
How long of a lead time did he have on that? How long did it take him?
Well, it's because it's already existing technology that we have. It didn't take long. All we had to do was just kind of repurpose some things.
Yeah.
So the expo hall already, that digital expo hall already has so much ability to do things outside of what we scope it to do for most clients, that it was a pretty easy lift to add a program and add a couple other things to it and just make it a one-stop shop. So
That's cool.
it was cool. And they were very happy because for them, they didn't have to do any of the input or the stuff that they normally do. We just took it all over. So it was even a bigger win for them because they're like, "Oh, cool. Normally we have to enter all this information. We have to
we saved hours and hours and hours.
They have to do it." Although we should get Corey on here because he broke his back getting that done. He was pretty racked at the end of the week, man.
Yeah.
It's tedious. It's a lot of work. So we've got some automations in place though. We're working with a developer that we work with a lot on that'll make that a little bit faster on the front end. So people can just kind of enter stuff into a form and it'll all pull in instead of us having to manually do it.
But if someone listens to this and they are a developer or they're someone who understands this technology,
yeah,
send us a message.
Yeah.
We might have some contract
Some
hours
work.
coming up for you.
Or like if you're a small organization that feels like you can't afford to do this, let me show you that you can, because we've already got this stuff together. So
Okay,
anyway, it was an
cool.
awesome week. It was awesome getting some recognition on site. It was great watching it come together. And it made me really proud just to see everybody pull together as a team independently for the greater good to make it just a really good week and get a lot of momentum going into the next week. So that's that. I wanted to talk about that. And I am really appreciative for you for coming in. I know that's a pain to drive in from Houston just for these meetings, but
Are you kidding? I loved it. I got
it
to
took
hang out at
the
the
burn off.
office. I got
Yeah.
to mess around in the podcast studio.
I heard you and Blake went and had lunch.
And me and Blake went to Blake Catrola,
Hill
Hill
Country
Country
Studios.
Studios,
Yeah.
buddy of Audion. Yeah, we went to radio.
Yeah. Good guy. I like that dude a lot. But that team effort was huge. And then having somebody come up and be like, hey, like, I really felt like this was, you said something that resonated with me. I was like, cool, we're putting some good stuff out there. So on the backside of that, what I want to talk about really quick here is something that you and I are working on a lot right now, which is like basically kind of like internal housekeeping, external marketing, right? So like getting all your ducks in a row so you can show people the good work that you're doing. And outside of this, I feel like we're kind of like the cobbler with no shoes, or like the carpenter whose house is falling apart. Like we're so invested in what's going on with clients most of the time, or so engaged in projects, that we're not really practicing what we preach. And this came to a head for me last week. Our Austin Google listing got flagged and pulled down.
Really?
Yeah, it was gone for a week. It just came
Whoa.
back up like today. I had to do an appeal through Google. So I want this to serve as like a warning to people and a cautionary tale that whatever you're doing out there in the world, make sure that you're mindful of your internal marketing and your outward facing stuff, because it is just as important as taking care of your clients. If you don't treat yourself as a client, you could get in a world of trouble. So what happened was we had some issues with, we've been working on a new website. So our old website had kind of fallen in disrepair, and we haven't been paying much attention to it. Something broke on it. We reverted back to an older version of the website. That older version of the website had our old address on it. Along with that old address, there were some stray listings that lived in Google, and Google said that we were not at the address that we said we were, because we have a new office. And so it was all relatively new. So they flagged our listing and pulled it down, and I had to appeal it. And that was like a week-long process.
Jeez.
So for a week, we didn't exist on Google. You couldn't find our listing, and it was restricted. And so we had to appeal, send in all this documentation, go fix everything we could on site and get it done. And luckily we got the listing back. But I could imagine a scenario where it wouldn't have been that easy to get it done, or we wouldn't have had the technical know-how to get it done, and somebody would have been completely submarined. I'm just like, my big thing now, and this is going to be something that I'm going to have to reiterate to clients, because we used to do a bunch of SEO back in the day. And now it's like you're doing AI optimization and all these other things as well. But it's, gosh, man, like if I would have just taken, 5 minutes every day to check in with our accounts, maybe upload a new picture, ask a client for another review, make sure it had been posted, I would have seen this coming, and it wouldn't have been such a big deal to where it was a total freak out. Like, what if we wouldn't have got it back? What if they would have denied our appeal?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have a listing, and that's, all those reviews, everything that we had would have been gone. And then how would people even find you? So it's just stay on top of your own stuff. Don't neglect that, just because you're busy with clients, like, or members or whatever else it is. The other thing I want to talk about that ties into this, because it's about branding, because we're not doing a great job at this either, is, we talk about the brand authenticity all the time, and all these buzzwords and all this played out stuff. But I had a really cool experience with a physical therapist this week. I've had some shoulder problems. I'm going back to a physical therapist. And this was a guy who had worked for like a big therapy clinic type place. And he left and went out on his own. And it was a really interesting thing to see him out on his own and how many good things he was doing. He had taken all the knowledge that he has as a physical therapist and as a personal trainer and all these things, and moved into a pretty cool location. It's like, instead of going into this sterile environment where it's physical therapists and equipment and fluorescent lights and white walls, and it's very clinical, check you in, you stand over here, wait, there's 10 other people in the room. You go in and he's doing a one-on-one thing. He has this big graffitied mural on the wall of his space with like this really cool logo that's like cool graffiti. It's like total H Town, like Houston style stuff too, because he's from Houston. Um, cool like equipment with like gold tips on it. Like the barbells have like gold on them. And
Oh, all
yeah,
right.
no, I mean, total vibe. Like you walk in, you're like, oh, this is rad. And it's just
Yeah.
you and him. And it's like him, right? So like he built this, and there's a million physical therapists out there. There's a
Mhm.
million physical therapy clinics, but I can go hang out with this dude for an hour in this cool spot with like cool music playing, do my therapy, and like it's not a chore or burden. It feels like I'm going and kind of just like hanging out. It was
Yeah.
awesome. And I told him that. I said, this is like, you have to lean into this. Cause he's like, what do I do to get more clients? What kind of videos should I be shooting? I was like, you need to do more of this. Like you should lean into this. This is what separates you from everybody else. There are
Mhm.
people that are probably have way more education than you do, way more experience than you do.
Did he
There's
get offended at that? Was he like,
no,
"Bro."
he was like, what, he probably did. There's people with way bigger marketing budgets too that can do it, but they're just like part of all this other stuff. You're doing something that's totally separate. And while it may not appeal to everybody, there's a large segment of people that are really going to be into this.
Yeah,
And I just thought it was a cool thing that was like it was a very personal thing. It really worked for him, and it really made him stand out in a super crowded marketplace. And all he was doing was just being himself.
okay.
And I think if he can lean into it more, and this is what we preach all the time, and this is a guy that's just doing it. So it was super
That's
cool.
great.
So shout out Active RX. Like I hope he does really well because it was
Active RX in Austin, Texas.
yeah, super cool dude.
Okay,
Really cool marketing. I think he's gonna do just fine
great.
on his journey. So that's my big things from this week. I was trying to think if I had anything else huge this week, but really like the teamwork stuff was massive. So nice to see. It was nice to get some recognition that what we're doing is resonating. Um, Cautionary tales of like taking care of what's going on, in your own house, in your own company. And then watching somebody start a business with like all the right pieces in place was just a really refreshing thing to see.
That's
Like going
great.
down the right path. So that's my week, Trey. That's what I
Okay.
got.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was gonna ask you, how do you what are you doing to like keep creative these days? Because I
That's
think
a really good question.
I sent you that video I made yesterday. Like it's a spec commercial that I want to make for us, but I think I was just like really itching to be creative. I think that's why I made it.
Yeah. Well, so I do a couple of things to keep that because I do get caught in like administrative mode for
Yeah,
90% of my job. That's just what it
you have a
is.
lot
And
of paperwork to do.
that's all it is these days is emails and budgets and client communications. And so I do miss that creative side. And on the personal side of stuff, what I do outside of work to do that is that I've just had to be very direct with myself about what it is that I want and what the things that I need personally. And in doing that, forcing myself to carve out times. And what that's meant for me now that the kids are back in school is that I'm having to get up earlier. So I get up pretty early in the morning now. And the first thing I do is I go immediately to my studio. So I have a studio in my house. All my guitars are on the wall. Everything is there. My amps, like my studio setup's there. It's a music studio, not a video studio. But I get up and I go sit in that room immediately. So I'm immediately surrounded with all these things that are familiar to me, that are meaningful to me, that are part of my creative self. And I write for about 10 minutes. And
Okay.
I do it every single morning. And it's not like I'm not like trying to get anything out of it. It's just whatever's happening. And it's really funny to go back and read it because you're in such a different space when you first wake up that every day is a little bit different about what I'm writing about. But I feel like I've had some good personal takeaways from doing that. And it's put me into a more creative mindset. Um, First thing in the morning,
Yeah.
to just start off with that. And then I immediately, as soon as I finish that, I get outside. And so the sun's usually coming up right about then. So it's like I open my eyes, I go sit in this space that is comfortable and familiar to me. I spend some time being introspective and doing these things just kind of in a free form fashion. And then
Mhm.
I'm immediately outside surrounded by nature with like things passing by my eyes, sun coming up, whatever. And I cannot tell you what it has done for my day. Like to not just get out of bed and be like, throw your pants on and get the kid to school, and like I'm in the car and whatever. That extra hour and 15 minutes that I have to get up early sucks. It's not fun to wake up.
'Cause you get up at, like, 6:30,
Yeah.
5,
Yeah,
5?
5:45, especially since I drank an entire bottle of wine and ate spaghetti last night. Like, it didn't feel good this morning, but it felt good when I got here. I was in a better headspace, and so that's what I do, and it's just being intentional about it and saying, like, "This is important to me. I've gotta make time to do it." And I know everybody's heard that a million times, but I'm just here to tell you, if you can figure it out, it makes all the difference. So,
That's interesting. Yeah. I get up every morning and I try and, I don't know, like, in the Jewish faith, if you have, like, liturgical readings, but
yeah,
in the Christian faith, there's, like, 3 scriptures
yeah,
that most of the church reads every day.
yeah.
So I read those 3 and then write about it,
That's
thoughts,
awesome.
and then say a prayer. And then I've been trying to go to the gym,
Good.
go just walk or lift, and, but that's not really. Yeah, and then creatively, I don't know, it's always like, um I feel creative when I get to shoot stuff, but I spend a lot of time meeting with people and talking about
Yeah,
future projects.
I
So
know.
that's I think that's why I was like, I just need to make something.
You gotta make something. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to do that. I tried to like, in the evenings, instead of if there's an Astros game on, I've gotta watch it. But I'll try before or after that just to go pick up a guitar and sit down and just play, and it doesn't matter. Play old songs, play stuff I'd written a long time ago, fiddle around with new stuff, but just find some outlet. I also have recently it's funny you asked me this because this has all been, like, pretty new stuff. Um, I stopped the doom scrolling. That was a big thing for me on the YouTube shorts. Like, I just couldn't get out of it. Like, I would just go sit in bed at, 9 o'clock till I go to sleep. I stopped doing that and have started trying to read a little bit more, and it's definitely helped my brain to free up. But it's a tough one, man, and it's a tough one when you're in this business, and if you're traveling and you're on shoots all the time and whatever. Because I think this goes back to like the you know the even if we're not talking about just being creative for clients, right? Because that's our job. We have to do that. We have to come up with creative solutions. We have to come up with beautiful imagery. We have to come up with these creative things to like make their brand look good or make their conference look good or whatever else. But like, how do you balance that with yourself? You're so spent doing that all the time, for other people, that you don't take
Mhm.
the time to do it for yourself.
Yeah. I saw, like, speaking of creative stuff, I saw this photo. I guess maybe there's something going on at Con this week or last week. And so people were posting photos of it. And
Mm,
it was like people being interviewed
mm,
on a backdrop, and I was like, "Man, they look like shit,"
mm.
because I thought that they were really dark, and it made me kinda think, because I don't know if you feel this way. I always feel like, it's just my ego, but I'm always
Yeah,
like, "I could do that better,"
of course. No, I think everybody does that.
and so I had that reaction. I was like, "Well, they probably got one of the best." I would think that they would have gotten one of the best cinematographers in the world to light it and then shoot it, and I was like, "I wonder what the reason for it being so dark and muddy was."
Yeah.
I hope they didn't just get, like, an intern to light this weird set, but they could
No,
have.
sometimes too, there's like extenuating circumstances or things that are out of your control and stuff happens and it looks weird. I know there was somebody this week that had at that conference we were at that had run that conference prior and had left, and this was their first time being there afterwards. And I was super nervous to hear like what they thought because they didn't do it, because it was all kind of us with their new staff, but they were pretty complimentary. But also, I know we've been on stuff like I've gone back and look at stuff that we've done, and thought like I could do it better now.
Yeah.
But it's like something was either happening during that time or whatever else.
Mhm.
Um, but that's a funny thing. I was talking to somebody else about that, like critiquing, like I'm sure you do this too. Like if you go to like a networking event or a conference and like you're looking at their AV setup or you're looking at whatever, you're like, dude, what are y'all doing? This is junk. Like we would never do it like this. Like
Yeah.
everybody's got their way of doing stuff and you can pick somebody apart, but you don't know if there's budgetary constraints or,
Oh,
something
for
came
sure.
up.
Yeah, like, last night I was at an event, and, the guy who was their creative director was off shooting video, and he as far as I could tell, he was shooting everything with, like, kind of a medium lens, and I was like,
Yeah.
"That's such a weird choice at an event."
Yeah.
I'm sure I mean, I've seen his reel before. He does
Yeah.
really cool work. I'm sure
Yeah.
it's gonna look great, but I was like, yeah, in my head, I was like, what a weird choice."
I
And then,
know.
yeah. But the other one is, like, when I watch podcasts,
Yeah.
because I'm like I mean, I know that we're just shooting in front of our computers, but I feel like we both put a little bit of effort
Sure.
into the way it looks
Not looking
and,
terrible, yeah.
the lighting, and sometimes when I see, like, people in town, there's a couple of, like, professional podcaster setups, and I'm like, "What is going on there? Like, what is the choice there?"
We got into this discussion too when we were working on this studio. Like, there's now a big distinction, I feel like, between what I would, where everything's evenly lit and it's just a room that everything's looks the same.
Mhm.
And then like kind of more of a cinematic lighting
Where everyone's
thing.
kinda, like, backlit and there's no
Yeah, or
front
has some
fill.
shadows. Like, and we were very particular about this studio about setting it up to where it was more cinematic and where like you had some shadows and you had some depth and it wasn't just everything was evenly lit. But if you watch some of these bigger podcasts, it's like everything's lit the same and it all looks exactly the same. And I
Yeah.
don't know if that's just because these people are comedians and whatever else. And so they're hiring like installers to come do it, or if it is actually they're making a decision, on how they're doing that lighting.
Yeah, and then it's funny, I feel like in business podcasts, it's very, like, ultra cinematic,
Yeah,
but it's, like, overly, like, where there's, like, no fill in the front, and you're like, "I can't really see their
you
eyes."
can't see. Yeah, there's some stuff too. I saw some guys went out. There's a pretty big podcaster here in town, and they went out to a studio that's just west of town that has one of those big immersive LED sets, like a huge one. And that he shot a whole series of them there. And I remember watching it and going, this is ridiculous. It was like so distracting to see like the Unreal Engine stuff and all the stuff on the backdrop that like I couldn't pay attention to the content. It was like way overkill. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like that. It's like just because you can doesn't mean that you should do that. Like focus on what am I supposed to be focusing on here? This crazy moving backdrop, and you're in this like it looks like they were at the, in some LED globe versus just focusing on the content. So that was weird, but I don't
Alright,
know,
any
man.
other rants you got for the week?
I don't really. I want to reiterate how like, man, I've been doing this for a long time and it's like always really amazing to me to watch this team come together as individual contributors for the greater good and to treat these clients like that we have no other clients. It was because I got to able to step back from this stuff a little bit more and I'm not building the sets and I'm not always in the middle of it. Like to go down there and know that like stuff was handled here and know that stuff was handled in Houston and then just see this client be so well taken care of was just a really good feeling. And it's so if for nobody else, if our staff sees this, like a huge thank you to everybody because it was awesome. We have such a great team. I'm super proud of everybody.
Good job, guys.
Good job, Audion.
Good job.
That's it. I don't know, guys. Take care of your business online. That's the biggest thing. Don't let this stuff slip. Don't be like Ben. Don't spend a
Mm.
whole week freaking out.
My only other rant was about how sports has devolved into just, like, an activity that occurs so that we can, make prop bets. I don't understand why everything in sports, especially sports podcasts, I mean, it's all sponsored by
Yeah, the betting.
Sports King, betting, whatever, and you're like, "What are we talking about here?"
I know. It's funny if you get into the Reddit subs too, you can tell the guys that have money on stuff because it is just game on with those dudes. It is either doom and gloom or they're high as can be, or they're just like ripping into people. And you're just like, you obviously have money on this because you do not care that much about what's going on.
Yeah. I feel like
Yeah.
that's like you can tell when people bet on the Astros versus people who just watch, because people who just
That's what
watch
I'm
are like,
saying.
"I mean, that was okay. I mean, we lost, but whatever." You're like, get over it pretty quickly, and people that lost money are just like,
Oh no, these dudes are doomers, man. And then like last night we had a pretty good win against the Orioles again, which, that last series was terrible with them at home. So to come back and win that first game, it was just like, it's used the same guys are like, yeah, we're back, baby. And it's like, were we really gone? Like it's baseball. It's also like, I don't know. I guess we are getting into the home stretch here, but it's just funny to see. So I don't know.
"Well, have a good weekend."
Man, you too. Hope you enjoy some downtime and chill because you're about to go. You got some travel coming up, buddy.
Going on the road, hitting the road.
To go on there, get out there,
I'm
make some good
excited.
video. All right, well, cool. Well, man, have a great weekend, dude. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, I'm
All
gonna
right, buddy.
click it. I'm
All
gonna
right.
click it,
Okay.
and bye.